What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Jav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review, coming out of Long Island, New York. With me today, we got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
We got my brother, B.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
And we are forever screwing over Sanj. Because we record on a Monday now. Oh, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we still screwed over Sans.
And we still screwed him over. It's fantastic, sir. Oh, man. But listen, with us recording on a Tuesday, because things came up, Giants game, and, things came up, and it's a good thing things come up, because then we get exciting news up to the minute when we record. And what we just found out, and what Brandon's about to find out, because Brandon doesn't know, is Brandon, there was an announcement made maybe about 3 hours ago where Ryan Reynolds put out a YouTube video kind of apologizing to the fans of Deadpool and MCU that he was not at Disney's D23 Expo. And in the video, he's saying that he wants to make sure that when he brings Deadpool to us, the audience, the fans, he wants to make sure that what he brings is the best ideas. And he said he had none. He said he has no ideas what to do. So he's sitting on a sofa with his dusted off Deadpool outfit on, and he's sitting there, he doesn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, Hugh Jackman's walking across behind him, because he's sitting on a sofa and he's in his house. And Hugh Jackman walks right past, like, in the background in the hallway. He goes, "Hey, Hugh, you want to be in the movie?" And then Hugh Jackman starts going up the staircase in the background. He goes, "Yeah, sure, Ryan." So in like the most nonchalant way possible, I guess they just confirmed Wolverine is going to be in Deadpool. And it's not just that scene alone. There's also a graphic of Marvel Studios, a Deadpool logo with the Wolverine slash, the three lines across the Deadpool face. So it's more than just like, are we sure? Because if it was just the video, we'd be like, well, is that true? But Marvel Studios with the Deadpool logo with coming hewn. Hughn, coming hewn. And we also got a release date as well. I believe it's September 6th, 2024. So I mean, we're 2 years away from the Deadpool movie. And now, Brandon, you hearing this for the first time, my brother, what are your thoughts of hearing that Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine?
I'm pumped. I just want to know what this means. Because like if it was like a gag, like I know they have a logo, but like what does this like mean? You know, like are we getting like Wolverine in a yellow suit? Like what are we getting here? Like
God only knows, brother. God only knows. It's insane, man. And Al, you heard the news earlier. What's your thoughts on the news there of that?
It'll be interesting because, like, that's how I found out. I didn't see the original video. I saw all of the reaction videos popping up on my timeline. Same. So, but one thing that somebody pointed out, and this is where you gotta, as nuanced as that video was, if you listen to the words, he goes, "Hey, Hugh, what do you think of playing Wolverine one more time?" And if you think of 2024, that's when they're going to be the whole multiverse and all these different versions, I guess, of, Kang and everything going on. So I'm wondering if he's coming back as Wolverine for the one movie, and then this is going to introduce X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing everybody's hoping for. This is somehow
and then the actual X-Men that they're going to use will be different actors.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, to have him in the movie, in the MCU, and like he said, just one more time, because apparently he was done after Logan. Yeah, after Logan, he said he was done. That was it, because he put his all into that movie. Apparently, him and Patrick Stewart cried making this movie together, and when they watched it together, they cried again, and they said, "This is it for us," And to hear that he's coming back to do Wolverine in the MCU, which is going to be absolutely incredible. I mean, I already expect the best. I expect Deadpool to be Deadpool, and Wolverine just to be Wolverine. I mean, granted, it's all over the place with the timeline, because of course we saw Logan die in spoiler alert if you didn't see Logan. Logan, we saw Wolverine die in that movie. He had a burial and he had everything, and X-23 was there and all that stuff. And then now we have Deadpool, who's somehow, some way in the MCU, which I'm sure they're going to explain in some funny, ridiculous way. Or, we'll see what they come up with. Now, I mean, Al, do you think, because it's Deadpool, because of the way that he plays to the audience and he's kind of like, he's in the joke with us kind of thing, do you think that we're going to see pretty much the Fox Studios version of Deadpool, and then somehow he transfers over to the Disney Deadpool, or we're going to have our own MCU Deadpool outside of that?
They can't, see, you can't bring Ryan Reynolds Deadpool over and it not be that same Deadpool. Like, I think it'll be too much to try to change up the character. So I think I'd be interested to see if they do something where, like the same way they brought over Venom, like with the blip.
That was horrible, by the way. That was the worst fucking thing to do with Venom. But anyway.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of use like that event to explain how
Secret
Daredevil
Wars
came over. Yeah. So however they bring him over, I hope they leave the character as is. Don't change him up to match the tone now that the MCU has. Leave him as he is, but almost like on the outskirts of whatever story you're telling. Like, don't make him a main figure because he doesn't fit. Like how, like, kind of the same way I'm confused as to how they would bring She-Hulk in eventually, being that she also breaks the fourth wall.
Right.
How do you have two characters where one of their main gimmicks is that they break the fourth wall, and then have them in scenes with like these serious serious characters that you've already built up within the MCU?
Yeah.
So I would kind of like to leave him on the outskirts, have him interact maybe in a scene or two, but then just let him have his own MCU-based kind of movies for himself.
Gotcha, man. Brandon, I always envisioned our way of seeing Deadpool would always going to be him killing off the MCU characters. Like I think he has a famous comic book where he destroys the MCU, or not the MCU, but the Marvel characters, like all of them. He kills them.
I think, I'm at the same time, like I just can't see it, almost for the same reason Al can't, but like, like it's interesting because of his character, his story, the way it works, and the way the MCU is. Like MCU up until She-Hulk has never really had moments like that. Everything's been very cinematic. And so like even for She-Hulk, it's like it almost gets a pass because it's a television show. So then to now have Deadpool come on the scene, like, are we just gonna not let him break the fourth wall? Like, is he just gonna be silly around other people? Like, and just be stupid?
Right.
Like, but then like, how does that work in with a lot of it? Like, I can't see Deadpool in the same scene as Captain America. Like, so like it's weird, like where they can put him. I foresee like Secret Wars. Like, I could actually see Wolverine in Secret Wars because he had said that he would come back for an Avengers movie. And Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty are both Avengers movies. So I could see him in Secret Wars, but I feel like whereas Wolverine might get like a spotlight on the team for Secret Wars because he was involved, as was Black Suit Spider-Man, I could foresee that something spills over, like into New York, and She-Hulk and Daredevil are there fighting off, but it's quick scenes, like just to show that they're doing something, and it's not about them. Like, but you can see, like, oh, this is where She-Hulk is, this is where Daredevil is, this is where Deadpool is. They're fighting these guys in New York and around the world, and our main guys are here on the battle planet.
All right.
So I feel like that's how they can do it. Just so like they show these characters, but don't give them any spotlight.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really cool and interesting. And again, it's going to be a blast for us fans to see these two actors together again. And again, if you know the two actors, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman there. Thank you, Al. They have this ridiculous back and forth on Twitter where they're making fun of each other. They say crap about each other all the damn time. So to put that to screen with the characters that they're playing already, I just can't even imagine how much of a good time this is going to be, man. I can't really wait, honestly. Just
Yeah.
can't wait, man.
Plus, they got to bring credibility back after that. What was it? Wolverine. What was the Wolverine movie where they had?
Oh, the Wolverine.
Oh Jesus!
Oh geez, with that Deadpool, right?
Yeah, they need to bring an interaction with them back and have that to replace that, so we can act like that one really never happened.
Gotcha.
Well, that's what they did at Deadpool 2. Yeah, at the end of Deadpool 2, he was going back and like killing himself. So like he went back to that scene and he shot himself in the head. Then he went to the Green Lantern and blew him up, like, you know.
Well, he blew him up while he was reading the script.
Oh, when he was reading
Green
the script, yeah.
Incredible, man. Look at us. Look at, who are we, the Real Fan Review, talking about movies? Are we kidding right now? So yeah, man. I mean, listen, if you guys are listening to us or watching us on YouTube there, give us a shout. Let us know what you think about having Wolverine and Deadpool in the MCU and your thoughts of Hugh coming back to be Wolverine, which is absolutely crazy. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit the comment section, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, man, just send us an email at therealfanreview@gmail.com just to let us know what you think. Now back to our regularly scheduled TV program. We don't talk about movies on this no more. We talk about House of the Dragon. And we talk about She-Hulk, I guess. We got to talk about She-Hulk because we've been doing it already. So might as well keep it going. Yeah. It's just sad. But I have an analogy for She-Hulk really quickly. I know when things are bad. I'll give you an example. MCU movies, when I watch them in the movie theaters, usually I see them twice in the movie theaters, right? And with Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't see it twice. And then Thor: Love and Thunder came out on Disney Plus. I have yet to watch it. I feel the same way about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I know, and like normally, I know it comes out Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. We're all on there, and I downloaded it first thing in the morning. So on my lunch break, I can watch it on my lunch break. That hour lunch break, I could watch some and eat food in the car and just watch it. I didn't even watch this She-Hulk until Sunday, man, because I didn't care. I didn't care. I was just like, I'll watch it after House of the Dragon, I guess.
And it's
I wasn't
crazy.
in a rush to see it, man.
It had such a great start to the show. Like we were really hyped about it. It was a great start.
Yeah.
And then just like, I guess the way they ordered the episodes afterwards, like, I guess this just wasn't a strong show. That's why they reordered it. But then now, like after the reorder, like it's just weak.
Yeah, man. How about you, man? How you feeling with She-Hulk right now?
I won't take as strong of a stance that it's horrible, but it's not living up to my hope. The beginning did. You see the interaction between her and Bruce. We start getting a feel for her. We get introduced to all her side characters.
Right.
But then in a way we should have maybe expected it, because they did tell us it was going to be episodic. It was going to be more of a sitcom type show, lawyer based. They kept comparing it to Ally McBeal. So maybe we should have expected this. And the last two episodes definitely put a bad taste in my mouth with the fact that there was no MCU thread. Like we said last week, at least throw a scene here or there. This episode kind of recovered because they did that at the end. So they brought it back to, okay, there is a story arc that we're trying to tell that relates to MCU events. But it's getting to, I'll put it this way. I think it's for a different crowd than what I'm part of,
Gotcha.
Because it's more for, you're looking for that sitcom aspect of a show, and for a Disney Plus show, for an MCU based show. I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah.
So if you were looking for that, if you don't mind that, I don't think this would be a horrible show, but given that it wasn't what I was looking for or expecting, it's losing me episode by episode.
Yeah, man. And we only got three more episodes left, I believe, from this. Yeah. So there's supposed to be a 9-episode series. Luckily for us, House of the Dragon is a 10-episode series, so we got 4 more at least on that one. And let's since we're already talking about She-Hulk, let's just keep it going there and end it quick. This episode is the episode where she is attending a wedding. And, and it's funny because even with them breaking the fourth wall, she says, how inconvenient. Yeah, this isn't convenient. Like, are you serious? Are we doing a wedding right now? And they keep saying that there's always two stories in these sitcoms. There's the main story, and then there's that secondary story that's happening at the same time that kind of blends in, to meet, like, I guess the same kind of story, or I guess theme of the episode. Mm-hmm. So with the theme of this episode for the wedding is we just had her fighting for her name of She-Hulk. And I guess it's finally her realizing that she does like being called She-Hulk, and she likes being She-Hulk, and she wants to be She-Hulk. And then the first thing this episode does is the bride that asked her to be a bridesmaid, that she did not want to be a bridesmaid for, tells her not to be She-Hulk. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay, we're back at this shit again. So, so I mean, the wedding thing is kind of crazy. I mean, listen, it had its funny bits and stuff like that. The one thing I have to say, there's something that pissed off Al last week, which is, here is this person who can turn into She-Hulk at any time she wants. She has control over this thing, right? And here someone is taking advantage of her, and she's just taking it. Like, here, she goes, what did she say? That the staff quit because of her attitude, the bride? She said, hey, the staff quit for some reason. I think, or the staff quit because of my attitude. So then she makes Jen Walters, our She-Hulk, pick up glass and put stuff away, iron clothes. What? I'll talk to me, man.
And it goes again. Like she has, like, I'm waiting for this backbone to develop from saying, yo, I have the ability to take charge of any situation if I want to, but I don't have to. So, but I can. Like, I would think that would build some kind of confidence in yourself, some kind of, ability to defend and stand up for yourself now, because you literally can in every sense. And she's still not, like you said, like, here she is. She gives in to being a bridesmaid when she didn't want to. She's there, and no other bridesmaid is doing the chores to help out that she's being asked to.
Right.
They're all able to stay focused on enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, she's repeatedly asked to do stuff outside of the norm.
Her
and
date
then
was
she
a
has
dog, Al.
Yeah, kid. Yeah. And then she has this one guy who's paying her attention, and she doesn't get to enjoy it as much as she wants to. I mean, I think they even make a point of commenting, "Oh, I haven't even seen you all week," because I guess this is a multi-day wedding.
Right.
And the guy says, "Oh, I haven't seen you all weekend," and it was like 2 days. So what did they have her doing for 2 days of this wedding that they didn't, like, that she couldn't go try to take advantage of being around the one normal guy that was showing interest in her and not in She-Hulk?
Yeah, it's pretty insane, and he also gave off the vibes of, like, he's part of the bad guy team. Like, he's a little too interested. He's part of the bad guy team.
But I hope they're not doing that. Yeah, but I hope they're not doing that, because that's like
too predictable.
Yeah, so you're doing it too many times, because you already did that with the one guy.
With the one date.
Yeah.
And then the guy who was like, "Oh, he's like tougher than vibranium is your skin." And then we see
the
the
one
needle.
that I think was the plant. Yeah.
Those powerful MCU words. B, how about you, man? What'd you think of the there was a side story there going on with what is it, Mr.
Immortal.
Immortal, there it is. Mr. Immortal. I was gonna say impenetrable, but that sounds terrible.
I don't want to boast this one. You can take me to court on that.
I am impenetrable.
Try me.
No. No. Brandon, back to the Mr.
Immortal. It's interesting to get introduced to, in a weird way, Mr. Immortal, who is a part of the comics. Obviously he kind of shares the same role. Like, he's not important, but he's around, and he shows up just as much as, like, other D-list characters, like Squirrel Girl, who was, like, moved herself up to a B-list, but she was like D-list at one point. Like Conan, is another one. So, like, all of these people And it's interesting to have him on the show. Like his thing was interesting. It was amusing, you know, at first, and it was just like, all right, like I want more She-Hulk because we only get 20 something minutes, you know. So it was amusing to see his story with all like the people. Like anytime he wanted to get out of a relationship, he just killed himself, you know, like just walked in traffic. Like, oh no, I walked in traffic and died. Like, you know, so it was amusing, and I did enjoy that. It's just very weird now that out of nowhere we have this sudden emergence of super people.
Boom. That was what I was going to mention, B.
Yeah, like
that's exactly what I was going to talk about.
Out of nowhere, we have people with abilities, you know, and it's just like, whereas 10 years ago, it was hard to come by 5 people to make the Avengers. But out of nowhere, in the last couple MCU bits of things, we have super people who need to be defended, who have magic tricks, who have this, who do that. And it's like, where'd you come from? You know, like.
Yeah. And not to mention again, and I don't want to overthink it, and I don't want to overplay it, because it's just a TV show for Disney Plus, and it's not, as much as they say it's all connected to the MCU. This one really feels like it's not. Because if you're going to show me that he has about 8, 9 wives, I think 1 or 2 of them said something about kids or children. Where you been, bro?
Yeah.
And how did you exist? How'd you get your immortality in a world that's supposed to be quote unquote real up until Captain America, Iron Man, and all the stuff that happened afterwards? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you immortal?
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Al.
I was just gonna say, and they allude to him being around for a long time, because he references one of his previous girlfriends as being a baroness, and so you know, he had been around for hundreds of years, I'm assuming. So,
and that's the thing that's getting me a little worried. Like I hope that this show is loose, you know, in terms of how it works with things, because now it just seems like, oh, we have people, which was our conversation a month ago about the X-Men. Do we just have X-Men now?
Do you show up now?
Like, do we just have X-Men? Especially like the last episode when she was getting her super suit, and like that, to me, there's a guy who designs super suits for people who are not the Avengers. So how many of these people are around that this guy has a business making super suits? You know, especially if Daredevil, if Daredevil is one of his clients, like how many of these people are around? You know, like that's the thing now, that like I'm just like, it's cool that that's her show. Like her gig is, I support and I patrol for super powered individuals. I'm an attorney for them. But it's like, where did they come from when we didn't have them until this show?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
And that they're so common now that you even have, because Titania is what, an influencer. Like, she's like, I mean, they kept making her sound like Kim Kardashian. So, like, they're trying to make it seem like she's on that level of notoriety on a social media scale. So they're already that commonly accepted. Like, because you know how people tend to react out of fear. So now you're making it that all of these enhanced people or mutants, whatever you're going to start calling them now, we're always around. And
see, at first
so openly accepted.
At first, I thought they were going to make Titania not a supervillain or like someone with powers or anything like that. I thought she was just naturally an influencer that was just a little bit like, you know, worked out or something like that. But when she's taking a punch from She-Hulk and hitting She-Hulk, now I'm like, so we're not going to explain that? We're not going to explain where she just happens to be like super powered.
Yeah.
No explanation. Okay. Maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't know. I'm just a fan of the MCU.
It's just always been tight, you know? Like, it's always been very tight. There's always been a thread to understand. And like, even Miss Marvel, like, even though we got the thing like, oh, she's a mutant, at least there was a story that built up her powers and this and that. So like, we understood, and they didn't talk about any mutants. They didn't talk about any influencers, not even Eternals, no nothing. And then as of this show, we have superpowered people. So it's like,
man.
where do we go from being this tight to like, oh, this is happening now? So that's why
now we're just throwing it out there.
Yeah, we're just throwing it out there. Here's a superpowered individual. Here's another one. Here's a guy who makes superpowered individual costumes. Here's this person. It's like, well, how did we get here when it was so hard to find 5 Avengers?
Gotcha.
Here's
Like,
a
you know,
reference to Wolverine. Remember, they threw that little line out there for
yeah,
Wolverine. If you read
the
the
guy with
background of
claws
that
in
one
the
scene,
bar,
The
yeah.
bar fight, yeah.
yeah,
It's a little interesting, man. And I mean, again, granted, we don't know as far as time period where the She-Hulk is. We're assuming it's right after the last movie, which was what, Thor: Love and Thunder, and before that, or even
It's supposed to
Shang-Chi.
be at the time or before Shang-Chi.
yeah. It's like right after Shang-Chi. No, or during
It's
Shang-Chi.
like during Shang-Chi.
Okay, see, I never
Yeah.
knew when, but at the same time, it's like they're gonna have to explain some of this stuff, man. It's kind of weird, man. But let's get to the big thing or the big reveal, which was saved for the end of the show, which was this new group or this new government or bad guy group that looks like bad guy at least, and
Intelligentsia.
intelligentsia. And it looks like they're just putting out either memes or stuff like that. But then we also have this like in between of a lab and someone walking around with looks like an undestructible needle that's supposed to maybe go into She-Hulk because the other needle broke. And they actually showed the other needle that the person had that was bent. So I'm
Mhm.
assuming that they're working on something that actually will get the whatever She-Hulk genes are in there and then blood and something. So I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
Yeah.
want to be interested, man. I really do.
I
Yeah.
feel like I
What are you gonna
feel
say,
like
B?
this show is almost like a precursor show. Like it's one of those shows that's supposed to
Hmm.
lead somewhere and not be important. Like
Hmm.
if that's what it feels like to me. It feels like we're introducing this character of She-Hulk, but we're really using this
Hmm.
show to propel something else. And so my
Right.
thinking is obviously there's a plug for whatever's happening with the Hulk. And then for me, the newest thing when I saw that last scene in Intelligentsia, instantly came to mind was the leader, who we know is
Right.
going to be a part of Captain America. And
Right.
Mhm.
so it's like,
New World Order.
is this his play into getting her blood so that way he turns into the leader fully? And
Right.
then we lead into this new Captain America thing with the New World Order, maybe
Hmm.
Intelligentsia being a part of that. So it's like, this I feel like this show is being used to propel the MCU and not
Something.
being used as the hero show.
Yeah.
You getting that same feeling, Al?
Yeah, because they're really not giving her a story.
Right.
She's in a way, she's the MacGuffin of her own show.
Yeah, actually.
Because
Yeah.
like the whole backplot that feeds it into the MCU is apparently going to be this group getting her blood.
Right.
So she's that object that's moving the plot along. So which is pretty sad if for your show to be like B said, moving something else in the greater scheme of your storyline.
Hmm.
You're using this show to introduce a main, not a main character, but a well-known character,
Yeah.
and she's not even like you're not developing her per se. You're just every episode almost stands by itself. And again, I know they said it was going to be episodic, but there's got there should be some greater scope of a story being told, and there isn't one.
Right. Yeah.
We
And
only
You
listen,
have three
know,
episodes left.
yeah.
yeah, man. 3 episodes left for this thing. And to be honest with you guys, shout out to Tatiana Maslany. She
Hmm.
is a
She's
great
great.
actress, man.
She's
She's killing it.
incredible.
I think she's doing what she can with what she's given. I
Yeah,
mean, she's killing
Yep.
it as, listen, completely believable as Jennifer Walters, converting into She-Hulk. She's killing it, man. She's doing her thing. I just don't think she's getting enough substance in the show to do or make her stand out a lot. Because
yeah,
at this moment in time, man, I feel like she's just getting punked every episode, man. It's kind of
yeah,
like my thing
Agreed.
with Varys from freaking Game of Thrones, from House of the Dragon. I hate that guy, but it's just like make a decision, do something. But
yeah,
it's the kind of that thing there, man. So I mean, listen, we have episode 7 coming out this week on Thursday. I'm gonna try to watch it Thursday, but I was I was even falling asleep watching this damn thing. But we'll definitely bring up She-Hulk next episode because we've already started. We started from episode 1. We're not gonna just drop it now because
yeah,
just in case people are listening to us for just She-Hulk, we want to make sure we talk about it, man. But now let's get right into the real reason that our subscribers keep going up, why our viewership keeps going up, why our podcast numbers keep going up. It's not movies. It's House of the Dragon. Woo! This episode, man. I say that for every episode, I think. It's just like,
they just keep getting better.
They're doing a good job. They're doing a really good job.
And you know, one of the things I was scared with House of the Dragon is that I thought I was gonna get like weirded out with all the time jumps. And I gotta say they did the damn thing with this, because every time jump, even though it made me feel like, whoa, what happened? What did we miss? And this and that. The show ends up like, all right, this is cool. I'm okay with what we just did, to get us here. I feel like we missed a bunch of shit that happened in between, but for what we're seeing, what we're getting in this show, I'm okay with it. Keep doing what you're doing, because this shit is fantastic, man. But yeah, man, let's get right into this episode, man. Let's start off with some of the good stuff. Well, I wanted to get your opinions on this stuff, guys. B, what was your thoughts on the time jump from 10 years? And we get our new Rhaenyra and our new, I forgot the queen's name. Alicent there. So, I mean, we saw the time jump. If anyone besides, of course, Leonor, which is Corlys' son that married Rhaenyra, the main people that we saw kind of grow up was the Corlys' family, and also, Rhaenyra and Alicent. So, what do you think about the time jump and the new actors that played our old favorite actors?
I was a little weary of it because, I understand the story. I've read the book, and so I know everything happens quick. And
is it time jump like that too in the book?
It jumps around, yeah. It jumps around a lot. Then this is just the start of it, and so for me, I was worried about it because I didn't know how they were going to develop the show around that.
Right.
And seeing this episode in its entirety, I was convinced they're doing a really good job, because I thought that we had, with Millie Alcock, that her development of the character was going to be something really pronounced, that I was going to be upset when we got introduced to her new character. Right. Well, her new actress. Yeah. And I was really surprised. Like they did a great job of kind of almost capturing each other and putting it into Rhaenyra. So I think they all did a good job. And then even Alicent's characters, like I feel like her new actress did a good job of putting herself in the Alicent role now. And I feel like they really did it.
With Alicent, if they didn't even tell me they did a time jump, I would have believed that was still her, dude. That one was fantastic. I'm not so crazy about Rhaenyra's time jump look. That's the one that kind of like held me back. Like, that's not Rhaenyra. Like, but by the end of the episode, I was like, Rhaenyra.
I mean, it's hard when you have to wear that bright platinum wig. Like, how do you make anyone look good in that?
No, especially her freaking son. Not her son. What's his name?
Alicent's son.
No, yeah, Alicent's son. Aegon. Jesus, he looked. Brandon.
I was beating my chest, my heart,
Jesus Christ, you fucking animal.
Dude, that scene alone, I was dying because they made so many TikToks and meme off that scene, like people just walking through King's Landing and be like, oh, someone's clapping. They're like, yeah, yeah. And then they look up and they're like, oh no.
Dude, if that's not a like a fucking life goal to do that one day out of a window. Oh man, let's get back on topic. Al, Al, what was your thoughts on the time jump there? Brandon, stop clapping, please.
I didn't think they did a good job with the time jump. To me, they did a good job of explaining what happened during the time jump. Yeah. Obviously you have the king lived and he's further along
fucked up
and worse. And the queen is taking advantage of that to become more stronger, a puppet master. Yeah. Like she's controlling him through little conversations off on the side and stuff.
Right.
And you see that the rivalry between her and Rhaenyra right from the jump. I mean, the episode opens with Rhaenyra giving birth. And she's not even done delivering, and the queen's already, bring me the baby. I want to look at the baby. What?
That's
dope. So, and then you see that Cole has switched sides. He's purely on the queen's side. I'm like,
what a hater.
Yeah, but, and like you said, you would have liked to have seen what happened in those 10 years, but they really show us what happened.
Yeah. She got better, man.
Yeah. And it was like I was saying, like, yo, at this point, I was on like Rhaenyra's side. I was like, yo, I want her to get to the throne. I'm, I this is messed up. But I don't like either of them now. So at this point, I could care less which of them wins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you know what it is, because Allison comes off too much like a spoiled brat. Like, I get it. You follow tradition. You were the good person, so to speak. But you're coming off like a whining baby when she's sitting there talking. The king is praising the hand for being, loyal and giving, un, unbiased opinions.
Right.
He said, for the last 10 years, you've given me great counsel, without any self-interest and so forth.
Mhm.
And the queen, instead, being the loyal, I'm doing this for tradition. She goes, "Oh, I want my father back." And then even the guy says, "Well, he wouldn't have been unbiased." And she goes, "Yeah, but he would have been unbiased in my favor." So
Mhm.
you're just as bad as Rhaenyra, and you're upset with Rhaenyra because of what she's doing.
Right.
And then Rhaenyra's out there, clearly having like they were saying in the show, yo, everybody got eyes.
Yeah.
There's no way that's your husband's kids.
That's three? Three? He was like, he has your nose.
Oh man.
He has your
He's looking everywhere.
nose.
Yeah. There you go. He's gonna will that shit into existence.
No, that was it.
He's
He's
gonna
got your
find the
nose.
he's gonna find the connection, boy.
And dude, when she called him out, when Allison called the king out, it was just like,
Oh,
he was like, fuck you, that's my daughter.
There's actually a couple scenes where Allison gets hard body on some of these people.
yeah.
Like when
Yo,
the hand
when she says it to Lenore, she goes, "Yo, keep trying. Eventually, one may look like you."
Ooh, that was one. That was one.
Yo, that
How
was
about how about
great.
when
When she was
she was
talking to
talking to the
Aegon?
hand? No,
Oh,
Aegon. Fuck Aegon. When she was talking to the hand,
oh
and
yeah.
she said she goes to the hand. She's just like, say it out loud.
Yeah.
No,
Oh yeah,
say it.
when he was trying to quit.
Yeah, when he was trying to quit, he said, because there's darkness. She said, what darkness? Talk about it.
Yeah, say it plainly.
Why don't you say it in plain English, please? Go for it.
What about your son?
Microphone.
What about your son? Who's he fucking Rhaenyra? What? Who? What?
Basically. She was tough. And I respected it, man. I definitely respected it, man.
When she
Because
was talking to Aegon, though, like when he was doing his thing, she was like, "You are fucking this up right now. You need to make sure you fucking kill her." He's like, "What the fuck?"
that talking between the teeth. Yeah. Yeah, man, we've all been there, man.
Oh, yeah.
When our parents, they talk between their teeth, they're smiling, and everybody else can see the smile, but we're hearing the real talk. Yeah, man. My dad, man, he's like, "You're gonna score on everybody in basketball today." He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna be friendly. Good game, yeah." Kill them. But listen, let's talk about that first scene, because that first scene, and I've always described Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon as almost visceral, but because of the imagery and everything that they show, like this baby's being born. But talk about making you feel something too. Even as men, the three of us, old men, maybe not so much Brandon, but definitely me, right? We don't know anything about childbirth, right? We don't know what it feels like. We don't know what it is. We just know what it is by TV and on our own experiences of our wives and seeing childbirth. My dude, when she looked at the staircase, like she looked at the staircase to go see the queen with her baby that she just delivered, I cannot believe it. And even Leonor goes to her, he's just like, "We don't have to do this." And she looked at him like, "You're gonna carry me?" He's like, "All right." He put his hand on her back. "Let's go." And the most realist and again visceral imagery is after they leave to talking to the queen and the king, and they're talking about, like, this is ridiculous, this is crazy, this gonna something about blood, and her and Leonore walk off the scene, and you can see the hallway floor, No, actually, she walks off, and Leonor looks back, and you see in the hallway as the floor that she just walked past, there's blood all over the floor,
trail
man.
of blood. Yeah.
I mean, it made me feel for her, like damn, she wanted to make sure that she was there with her baby when the queen was going to expect the baby to see if it looked like Leonor. And it's just like, she said it, this is part of the game. This is what's going on. This is where it is. We're ticky-tack right now. Wow. I mean, Al, what was your thoughts with that first opening scene there? I mean, even the baby being delivered in the background, just nuts, man.
Yeah, no, at that point I hadn't like really grasped what was happening. Like, I was like, because like at first I was like, okay, so what? The queen wants to see the baby. I was like, granted, it's bad timing, but I didn't understand like why she felt that need to go. And then I was like, oh shit, because she's not letting her feel like showing weakness. If she had stayed back and like, all right, yeah, take the baby, you just let the queen take your son away from you right when you gave birth, and you're just laying down taking it.
How about the nerve of the queen to ask for the baby the second you gave birth? Like, dude.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, damn, right from the jump, we're seeing how severe this game can be. Like to the point where you're not even respecting somebody's giving birth. Like you're letting them know I'm queen and I can call for your child, even though you just literally had them.
Right.
And then to see the power play of, well, no, I will take them. And she struggles, at risk of her own life and health. She carries the kid there, and meanwhile, you got Leonor saying, damn, I'm glad I'm not a woman. And it's stupid shit like that. Like, was it painful? Motherfucker, do you see her? Does she look like that?
Dude, that's one of those times where I want to pull the old mom trick where you slap the person in the back of the head. Like, shut up.
Stop asking dumbass questions.
Exactly. B, how'd you feel with that first opening scene there, man?
It just set the stage, to let you know, like, this is what you're in for at this point. Like, it's getting dirty.
It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. Absolutely getting ugly out there, man.
Yeah.
And again, we already talked about the conversation she had up there with the queen and the king was, of course, there's a part of me that's like, again, I tell you guys all the time, Viserys as the king is just so annoying, but I get it. This is a king that wants to be loyal to his daughter. He promised her the throne and that she would be the next person up, and he's trying to stick to his word. But he also knows that his daughter just fucking shit up, and he's just in denial. So I mean, it's great to see that him as kind of sticking to his word for his daughter, right? Because it seems like with anything else, he doesn't stick to his word or doesn't really make a decision or anything like that. But it was like, again, great to see that. Then we get to the scene where now Rhaenyra and Leonor go down to their place of where they're staying in the King's Landing, and we meet the brother of Larys. I can't remember his name, but also the son of the Hand, who is the one who we are all assuming is the father of all these children. We're not going to assume. We know.
We know.
We know.
We know.
They don't think we know, but we know.
There was a lot of cheek kissing,
And it's so funny because I mean, I think you guys caught on that he even looked at Lenore like, yeah, I know you're her husband, but they're my kids. And like, even you can see the way that he looked at the children, the way he looked at the baby to hold the baby as the what's his role? He's the Knight's Guard, Brandon, or he's the
he's not the Knight's Guard, but I think he's just
the Night
a
Watch,
knight.
I think.
He's like a part of the Watch, yeah.
Yeah,
like I think he's part of the
main
Knights.
one. But he was the main one. I forgot the name of the role that person gets, but he was the leader of the Night's Watch of that King's Landing. And again, you can see how he feels about it and everything there. And it's so crazy, just to see that, and you see it out at play. And then we get to the scene where I believe it's now the Queen who's talking to Sir Christ. So what was his name, Brandon? Sir
Kristen Cole.
So Kristen Cole. And it makes me laugh to just see, like, last episode, he was just like, run away with me. Let's go to Essos, or Esteros, and in this episode, it's like, that cunt. I was like, oh,
that
Jesus, man.
little bitch doesn't know what she's getting.
Yeah, it's just, to hear the conversation between, Allison and Sir Kristen Cole is just like, you can see now he's protecting her rather than Rhaenyra. And you almost wonder like what those 10 years were for him. After we left off, the last episode was him on his knees ready to kill himself. And here comes the queen at the last second to kind of like, save him from himself. And from there we go, man. I mean, Brandon, what was your thoughts on the next few scenes there? I think we have the training session
The training
with the
session with the
kids.
kids. Yeah.
We meet all the kids there, right?
Yeah, and that was ugly,
That
because
got really bad.
that got real bad real quick. But it was an interesting scene, and this was interesting to me because I mean I could be recalling this incorrectly, but I could have swore in the books that Rhaenyra didn't have kids, and so to be introduced to 3 kids, and then one of them being named Joffrey,
Oh.
and then just seeing I forget the eldest son's name, but having that interaction that Kristen Cole set up between Aegon and him, and having them kind of spar and then just getting out of hand real quick. I was like, "What's the play? What's the play?"
to get the night the leader of the Night's Watch to speak,
just to say it, just to
but
say
even and as much as we talked about the Queen now, you hear how Sir Kristen Cole gets the leader of the Night Watch to talk. He's just like, it's funny the way you are reacting to this.
Yeah,
he's like, as if he was your nephew, as as like
your
a cousin, as your
or
son.
He fucks him up and he goes, say it again. Say it again.
Just nuts. And it's so funny because you had a few seconds before that the king is sitting there with the hand, and they're up there looking. He goes, look at this. They're practicing together. They're going to be best of friends, warriors that train together, fight together. Yeah. And he doesn't see that this shit's going to get ugly.
This got real messy real quick.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, listen, then after this, we get the whole thing with the hand of the king there, who kind of, he kind of sees it for what it is, right? Al, he sees him, he takes he goes to talk to his son in a private corner somewhere, right?
Yeah. And he basically said, yo, that outburst just solidified that those are your kids. Like, you just solidified for everybody at the risk of our lives, because I think if that came out, like, him, the kids, and Rhaenyra could be not only banished, but they can even be killed for it because of the betrayal to the crown or whatever the issue was.
Yeah.
So he was letting them know, like, yo, you fucked up. We got to go.
Well, didn't he tell him, like, he goes, we may not know, but we all have eyes. That's amazing, man. Great line. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely crazy, man. And it's, and I think somehow Rhaenyra, I think someone told Rhaenyra that something was happening there.
Oh, no, I think she just heard the story of what had happened, and then she goes to talk to the guy, and then that's when she overhears the conversation.
Gotcha, man. And it's crazy because after this, we get that looks like he's going to be sent out, he's going to leave, or the hand actually tries to quit. He tries to stop being the hand for the king.
Yeah.
And he said he needs to take some time away really quickly, but he can still remain as the hand. So he's going to take his son away from there because he just feels like there's just way too much shit going on. And again, we already mentioned, Alicent was there to hear the hand try to quit. And what she said, no, say it. What's the, why is there a black cloud around you guys? Now, this is where we get into the other side of it, because again, most of these shows play the same thing where there's two things going on at the same time. And I think this is the thing that a lot of people had some issues with that I see online, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all these other places, is that we got Daemon. We now see Daemon has grown older, and again, a lot of things from the last episode connected to this episode. The baby being named Joffrey. We know why now, because Joffrey was the lover of Lenore in the last episode, the paramour they called him. And we also saw in this episode that in last week's episode was one of Corlys's daughters. I think it's Lyanna.
Yeah.
Or Lena.
All
right, Lena was introducing herself to Daemon and kind of like flirting there. So it looks like we all kind of predicted they would end up together. looks like they already had babies and some kids.
Mhm.
And we had their story. And it's weird to see Damon this way because I think the way we left off Damon is this wild card, this
Yeah.
guy who could flip at any moment, do something crazy, and here he is all laid back. What was your take on laid back Damon, Brandon?
Um, it was
Did it
interesting
bother
because
you?
it was it didn't bother me until the end of that whole scene. Well, I guess that whole story for that.
Well, go for it.
Because
What happened in your opinion for that story?
when she went to Damon as she was having trouble with childbirth and said, "Listen, I know that I'm not the one. I know that you've been in love with her forever and you just chose me. You settled with me. We have kids, but I was never the one." And I was
Right.
just like, "All right, like yeah, we all knew it." So it was just like it was like messy just seeing that they have the kids, and it just seemed not like the Damon character we had building, because he
Right.
did have the kids, like there was in the book, but like it's just it didn't seem the way it would have happened to me.
Right.
Like it just didn't seem like Damon, like he was being dad for 10 years and now he's not gonna be dad after this moment. So like
Right.
it set it up to be very weird.
Gotcha, man. And then
Yeah.
we also have the story with Lena, or is it Elena or Lena? I think it's
I
just
think it's
Lena.
Lena.
Yeah,
Lena,
just
Yeah.
Lena because
Lenore.
it's yeah. So I think we get the story there, Al, with her, and she looks like she's having. Well, not looks like it's showing pretty much that she's having issues having childbirth.
Yeah.
She gets it's again the correlation between the king and Damon having the same issue, where they have to
Mhm.
kind of make the decision for whether or not they're going to save the child or save their wife or
Yeah.
their lover. No, wife
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this situation here. So, I mean, what do you think of that kind of correlation and where Damon doesn't make the decision on it? Which is one of the things that everybody was like, if anyone's gonna make a decision, it's him, and he doesn't.
Yeah, I found that odd because, for all the jokes, it's funny when they say about karma because, he made fun of the king, he made that off comment joke about, Prince for a day or something like that.
Forgot about that
And
shit.
now here you are in the same situation and
Right.
he's pausing and, but I was wondering like why she made the decision to then go to her dragon and do what she did. Was it because she sensed his pause and knew what it meant? That he was willing to risk her for the child. But at the same time, he seems like a totally different guy now. Like,
Right.
he didn't care about ascending to the throne. In fact, she was fighting him to go back and he wanted to stay because he just
Right.
wanted the life that they were having. And she
Exactly.
goes, this is no life for us. Um, so I think he would have chose to save her.
Hmm.
He already had his two daughters, and at this point, I'd rather keep my wife is kind of what he was going to say, because you even see he wasn't the cold man before. Remember when when the girlfriend, I forgot her name, was talking back, like he really just let her know, I don't give a shit about you. But when now this one was deprecating, talking bad about herself, like you said, oh, I know I'm not the one. I know I'm not beautiful. I know you don't love me. Like he went to like let her know, no, I do, and she said stop. Like she had to stop him from trying to
Like
make her
lie to
feel
her,
good.
or yeah.
But he actually cared to try to say, no, that's not true and everything.
Right.
So, he seems over these 10 years to have become the family man, which is interesting because now I think her deciding to do what she did, I'm wondering what that's going to trigger in him. Like, is it going to make him regress and go back to the way he was? Or is he going to become the father and try to take care of his two daughters, and then that results in him having to do stuff? Like I'm looking to see where this story goes because I don't know the book. I have no idea, so
Yeah.
I really
Well,
want
I
to
mean,
see.
I have an idea, but we'll talk about that as we get closer towards the end to see what happens at the end, because this is kind of where it gets crazy and stuff like that. But and I did think that there was something to her choosing her own death. I respected her, taking herself out rather than just dying at, the whim of a doctor or,
Yeah,
this childbirth that she was going through. She made the decision. And I kind of liked it, the fact that she had to ask the dragon like 4 times, like,
yeah,
Karis. And the dragon's like, no.
yeah,
I don't want to. It was. I hate to say it was emotional, but it was so weird because it looked like the dragon was about to cry too. Like, but it was hard to watch because again, this is someone at wit's end pretty much, and asking to be sacrificed basically by the dragon itself. So it's like, Jesus, that's crazy. And I think if I were correct, Brandon, they said that this dragon was the big dragon that was missing from the previous 5 episodes.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And this was one of the biggest dragons at this time period.
Right. And she had it. She was the one. She was the dragon rider for this one. I think it's something with a V. Vanguard
I forget the name of it. Because Balar was the other one.
So, I mean, a Vagar or maybe
I think it was something like that.
Yeah, sounds right.
So, I mean, it's kind of crazy that this dragon is a dragon riderless, so we'll see where that leads to, because we also have Aegon's brother who doesn't have a dragon except for the pig. And we got to see the fire pits, or the dragon pits as they call them in Game of Thrones, which is pretty cool to see the dragons in there. I don't know if you guys got this vibe from Aegon, but he's got that crazy
Joffrey.
Yeah, not even Joffrey, but like how Daenerys got crazy towards the end of the the series there, Game of Thrones. I'm like, is she off also? And they always say for every Targaryen that's born, there's 50% chance they're good, there's 50% chance they're fucking crazy. So I think he's got that crazy gene in him. He already looks like he has that crazy gene in him. I don't know, man. It's pretty insane and crazy. There seems like something's gonna happen with these kids because they're pitting the kids against each other pretty much. Sir Kristen put the kids against each other. Even Alicent was telling Aegon, "Don't be silly. Like, they will kill you if they have to." And he's like, "No, they won't." No. And then the way that they're picking on his brother, it just seems like something's gonna happen there as well. I don't know. And then we get some craziness here because we see that the Alicent there has formed some friendships. Besides Sir Kristen Cole that we saw, she had it looks like he's protecting her now. We saw that she's building up this relationship with this Larys. Yeah. Larys is a piece of shit, but we'll get back to that.
Larys.
He is up to something. He is manipulating something, man, because I have to kind of find out what this man is up to. So Al, remind me Larys's plan. He was gonna go to these people who were sentenced to death or were in jail.
Yeah, he set them up. He cut out their tongues so that they can never, I guess, I'm assuming never tell anybody that it was him.
Oh, they don't know how to write?
But then he hires them to then go kill his own father and brother.
Right?
Yeah. That was his family.
That's what I was like, wait a minute, that's his own brother.
But no, I don't get it. Like,
what's
the brother's being sent away. The brother's being sent away, and the father has shown over a decade of giving honest opinion and
according to you, Al, too honest sometimes.
But what was the point? Like, I don't see what was the threat to the brother or even to the queen. Like, I don't get what killing them does.
Brandon,
and then doing it secretly.
I mean, the only thing I could see was it was a plot to hurt Rhaenyra. Like, and because it seems like Larys is all about making sure Alicent gets what she wants, and he's gonna help her do it his way. That's what he was talking about.
He's pretty sure he's gonna get compensated for it.
Oh yeah, so I'm getting my compensation, right? And she's like, I didn't want this, and he was like, but it's done. I did it. So I think the whole point is he is trying to help her get the Rhaenyra chess pieces off the board. If by showing her that, hey, I just took care of my own family because this is the hand of the king and we can bring back your father now. This is my brother who's dead, who now can't populate with Rhaenyra. He's like, this is another way that we can get back on the board.
I think it's just so fucked up and crazy in so many different ways. Besides the whole, like, Rhaenyra can't have any more kids with this guy. The fact that she took the father of her kids away. For what reason besides a chess play? That's so crazy. To remove his father. your father's son. Like
because by removing his father, it could bring hers back.
Yes.
No, but see, the only folly I see with that decision was if their goal was to prove that these aren't Lenore's kids, you just took the only person who would have continued probably fucking up and showing that there is something else going on.
Right.
You just taken them out the picture.
But not only that, isn't Rhaenyra going to suspect that something was done?
Yeah, well, she did, because that's why at the end she's leaving.
Yeah.
She doesn't know yet.
She doesn't know yet.
She doesn't know yet, Al.
I thought she. Oh,
she's leaving.
They got mad in a fight during the little
meeting.
During their meeting, right? And that was her decision with Laenor. Like, you know what? It's best if we get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Right, because if you guys remember, she tried to make peace, which I have to give Rhaenyra some shout out. She wanted her son to marry the daughter of Alicent there, and Alicent was just like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." And then she tells the king, "Over my dead body, over my cold body." There, she said, and it's like, you know, the king's just like, "Listen, she made a good offer. She's trying to work things out, but Alicent's not letting this shit go, dude."
Yeah.
This is crazy, man. And I think she leaves knowing that even though she said she was going to revisit this conversation about her son and the daughter marrying to kind of like make the family house stronger, she kind of felt that, you know, Alicent wasn't going to go along with this.
No.
I mean, this is getting intense, man.
It's getting nuts. Especially if you saw the preview for next week, it's like, oh shit, where are we going now?
Oh, I did not see the preview for next week.
Oh, you should watch it.
Al saw it. Al saw it. Look. Can't hear you, Al.
You're muted.
Yeah, no, it looks kind of crazy for next week's episode, man.
Yeah.
It looks like things start really getting heated.
I was like, is this episode 9? Because all episode 9s are nuts, but this is like episode 8, so I don't know. I don't know if this is nuts. What episode 9 is gonna look like?
Hey, Brandon, relax. Episode 7. Don't jump a episode.
Oh, right. Oh, 7. Oh, shit.
Yeah, we're up to episode.
Now, how many
7.
episodes do they do in a season for this?
Well, this 10. One's gonna be 10.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so 10. We're close.
Yeah, man. It's getting crazy right now, man. This is nuts. This is fantastic television. This is so good, man. And again, when the show ended, and you see Larys kind of just looking creepy and smiling, almost like he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? all I can think of is like, what is Rhaenyra gonna say and do when she finds out that the man she was in, either, I'm not sure if she was in love with him,
and a tryst. We'll say a tryst.
A tryst. How she's gonna take that, man? And are they going to Dragonstone right now?
It looks like they're at Dragonstone.
They're heading to Dragonstone now, right? And a shout out to Rhaenyra for supporting her man. She's like, she goes, you could bring your little plaything. She's just like,
we're gonna need knights. Come on.
She said, we don't need as many swords as possible. I'm like, yeah, but not that sword. Swing. Oh man.
And I'm just curious, like, how do they fall behind? Because even if you have them at war with Alicent, Alicent only has like what, half or a third of the dragons. You have Rhaenyra with her dragon and dragons, because remember, she's the heir to the throne, so she's going to have dragons going with her. And then you have Laenor with the Valyrian dragons. And remember, they had half the dragons for themselves.
Yeah, and I think they showed in the dragon pit that one of the older sons has a dragon as well, right?
Yeah.
Or do all her sons have a dragon, B?
I think only one of them right now has
only one of them have one? Okay.
Yeah.
I know the oldest has one for sure.
I think the other ones are training.
Right. The only one who doesn't have one right now is, I believe, the second son.
The second son of Alicent. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have one right now.
Because he wasn't,
his
birthright.
Woo!
Yeah, his not his birthright.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy stuff, man. Any final thoughts on the episode there, Al?
Just wanted to see the craziness expand. Like I said, at this point, I lost my interest as to who wins. You know, as the more episodes come out, maybe I'll go back to one side. But right now, I just want to see it play out. It looks like it's going to get very interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be loyalties that make sense. Like you said, this guy killed his father and his brother, and there's no clear reason why he's siding with the queen.
Right. He wants something.
Yeah, because think
He's
about
at
it.
play
Your
for
father
something.
was hand to the king. If you guys wanted anything, that you were almost likely to get it.
Right.
So I don't understand why he
listen,
felt the need.
there may have been a little bit of jealousy as well with the older son. His brother, and the way the father and the brother had their relationship. Remember, if you guys remember, like through 2 or 3 episodes before, for the Great Hunt, he had Lara sit with the women
Oh yeah.
to tell stories. So who knows if there's something there, man. But yeah, I'm so interested in the next couple of episodes, man. Any final thoughts for you, B, for the episode?
It's great. I'm so now interested to see how this season ends. Like where are we getting to end this season, and then what is the potential of season 2 look like?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you guys, Sunday can't come soon enough. I am so excited for episode 7 for House of the Dragon here. I'm even remembering the names of all the characters now. Finally, I've got Rhaenyra,
There's just too
Allison.
many L's and too many V's.
Yeah, man. And I hope, just please, no more time jumps. Not till next season, please. I have a feeling there's going to be like another 2 more time jumps, because looking at Brandon's face,
I was like,
he's
well.
like, well, there's like this one and that one. Yeah, man. I really want to see this stuff play out, man, because again, we're up to episode 6, so 4 more episodes. How many time jumps can we do in 4 episodes? I don't think we really need them, especially with the king, who looks like he's gonna pass away. I mean, he doesn't even have an arm or a hand anymore. Like, this is one of his hands is gone. So it's like
he was looking at one of his hands like, oh shit, this one's going too.
So we're gonna definitely have the death of the king, I believe, in this season. So the death of the king, but how he dies, I have no idea. Brandon, don't ruin it for me with you reading book stuff.
I won't.
So I'm hoping we see that this happens in the next 1 or 2 episodes. I mean, my man is old right now. Like, I'm surprised he lived in his 10 years.
And it's crazy is, like, realistically, he's like 50, maybe. It's just that this has been like killing him, this disease.
Wow. Bitch assness. That's his disease. Bitch acidness. Oh man. So listen, man, that's gonna be us for this week. I saw on the calendar, and by the way, to the people who follow us on Instagram, my fault on last week not putting out the movies of the week. I'll get back on that this week. It's just been really crazy with work, school, and all this other stuff going on right now. But I'll get back onto showing you guys what movies come out on Thursday. So I'll do that today. But I believe I saw Brandon and Al Smiles coming out this week.
Yeah.
So that's that horror movie that looks crazy.
Looks crazy. Yeah.
The one that freaked us out with the end of the trailer. So I mean, listen, if we get a chance to watch Smile, we'll definitely talk about Smile and see how it is. Maybe we'll do like a out of the theater review, since we keep talking about Game of Thrones and She-Hulk there. But again, we talk about movie news, movie rumors, movie casting, movie reviews, movies, and more movies, and now TV shows. So listen, signing off from here, Long Island, New York, we are the Real Fan Review. Saying goodnight, we got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
We got myself, Hav. Good night, everybody. We got my brother, B. I forgot to mention him.
Hi, I'm here too, guys. Bye.
First time that's ever happened in 4 years. But yeah, man. And listen, I don't know where the video cut out again. So listen, our technical difficulties with Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But listen, we're again thinking about checking out Smile this week, and hopefully we can give you guys a review, or maybe a review out of the theater kind of thing, because we are talking about House of the Dragons episode 7 and She-Hulk episode 7 next week. So we catch you guys on the next podcast. Until next time.